Hi, it's Phil Harvey. We're here at Mobile World Congress, Las Vegas, and joining me today are David and Bob from Syniverse. Hello, gentlemen.
Hi, Phil.
Hello.
Good to have you here. We're talking about some topics that are of concern to mobile operators worldwide. The first one is messaging. David, we'll start with you. OTT messaging is growing quickly. How can service providers look to drive new revenue?
Good question, right? So, of course, the OTT messaging is certainly growing, worldwide, but A2P, SMS, and MMS, it's still growing too. We're very, we're still kind of early in the adoption there for some enterprises. So this is really a great opportunity for operators to deploy things like a carrier messaging hub. A carrier messaging hub, you have to consider really three things. First, a messaging hub is going to allow an operator not only to continue, to sell their A2P, SMS, and MMS, but now take advantage of those OTT channels and being able to also offer those to enterprises for even greater reach for their customers. Second, in the messaging ecosystem, the messaging hub is really going to allow them to kind of gain control of what they've given up a little in the ecosystem.
Sure.
So now they'll be able to choose which direct operators they want to connect to, which aggregators they want to connect to, which routes within those aggregators and operators they want to send messages down. So really kind of gaining control for their subscribers, creating a better experience. And then third, with the messaging hub, it's going to allow them to have advanced services on top of that. They could be very important spam and anti-fraud services. It could be the financial clearing and settlement messaging services for the entire ecosystem to make that work more seamlessly. So, a messaging hub can do a lot for the operator and helping them, grow revenue and monetize this continuing growing messaging ecosystem.
I like that you brought up fraud and spam because those are universal concerns. Consumers are worried about them, businesses are worried about them. The FCC is making it a primary concern as well. How does Syniverse help operators manage those threats?
Obviously, with kind of the global reach of messaging, it becomes a very attractive target for those bad actors.
Yeah.
Those bad actors are getting more and more sophisticated day by day, right? We've seen them go through email scams, phone scams, and now top and center messaging scams, right? So the operators and other ecosystem participants also have to continue deploying more intelligent solutions. Syniverse, we have a fully hosted anti-spam fraud system called Messaging Trust. At the core of it, Messaging Trust looks at the content of the message and identifies spam and blocks it accordingly. But it's a combination of using advanced AI techniques like directed machine learning and the algorithms around it, but also a human curated content and analysis of that, really to hone those algorithms and make sure they're very accurate. So, it's a bit of technology, but a bit of still a bit of human work that we're really tackling these problems and helping operators.
Okay, last question for you, David. Now, we've talked about kind of some things that are happening in the present and what Syniverse is doing now. How can Syniverse help operators future-proof their messaging revenue and kind of ensure a profitable business into the future?
So as I kind of mentioned earlier, right, we're still really at the beginning of this journey with enterprises. A recent study from Mobile Squared, I think, said, only we're somewhere between 2 and 5% of enterprises globally are using messaging as a communication method with their customer. So it's really imperative that operators get involved with this right now. And to do that, right, they have to make sure that they have high quality services. They make the onboarding experience easy for enterprises, and they make sure they have the tools in place to protect and monetize that ecosystem. And so that's really where Syniverse comes in with our leading carrier messaging hub and our messaging trust services, helping operators future-proof their messaging services, for today and many years to come.
Okay, Bob, your turn. Let's talk about 5G roaming. Can you tell us what you're hearing from mobile operators with regard to 5G roaming?
Sure, that's a really good question to start with. And across the globe, we're hearing a lot from mobile network operators on 5G roaming. And you consider the spectrum of early adopters to early planners, and we're talking to all of them. And what we're hearing pretty consistently is that there's complexities involved with 5G roaming, considering different interpretations of standards and the uniqueness of mobile network operator architectures. So what they expect from Syniverse is what we're delivering, which is consistency of how to take the complex and simplify it between the interactions of mobile network operators and in this key area of 5G roaming.
Yeah, that makes sense. How does security play into this? Are there security concerns that are being addressed as operators are moving to 5G roaming?
Sure, security. We consider security a foundational element to anything that we provide. I mean, it's as much of how we build our solutions as just transporting the data, of respective data within the solution. Security is really important to us. So foundational elements at Syniverse include our global IPX network, does not touch the internet. As it relates to 5G roaming, years ago we put forward and created a 5G SEP solution, which is a security edge protection proxy service. And you combine IPX with things like what we're developing with 5G SEP to help mobile network operators interact in 5G roaming. And again, it's just a proof that security is foundational to what we need to do to deliver.
Yeah. Now, 5G in general is a massive change for mobile operators, and it requires a capital outlay. It requires a lot of cost to go to 5G and to 5G roaming. How is Syniverse helping here? How can it help them address these costs?
Right. And people aren't going to look to Syniverse to explain the costs associated with building out a new network, but we have to be a good partner in understanding what the impact is to the MNOs. So we've done things. We have a solution called Evolve Mobility, and the use case for Evolve Mobility is the legacy platforms that operators want to move away from can be placed into the hands of Syniverse, while instead of putting capital towards legacy platforms, they could put capital towards building out 5G. So we've enabled inbound and outbound roaming solutions for legacy platforms, and that's being widely adopted across the globe. And then you also consider the people aspect of building out a network. And Syniverse Services, Global Services, allows for operators to come to Syniverse with 5G roaming contracts and putting those agreements into production, as well as the network and the signaling and data clearing aspects of that. Rather than being a one-time event, they can utilize Syniverse and deploy their resources for 5G.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, helping them kind of prioritize their capital costs is a big part of getting them onto 5G. And then once they're on the 5G, having them securely implement 5G roaming helps as well.
That's right.
And then of course, dealing with what they want to do on their phones with enterprises, sharpening messaging, giving them more features, more options, and also security underlying the whole thing. Bob, David, this was a great update. Thanks so much for your time today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.